Okay, let's unpack this. Close your eyes for a second. Yeah. Imagine early morning in Nyabohanse village, rural Kenya.
Hmm.
The sun's just starting to paint the sky, those incredible colors. You hear the village waking up, maybe livestock, people moving.
Yeah, that gentle sort of hum of activity starting.
Exactly. And right there, totally integrated into that rhythm, are the dogs.
Yeah.
They're not just, lounging pets. They're vital members of the community. They're mornings, packed with purpose.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how deeply ingrained they are. It's not just occasional interaction. It's a real partnership. Essential, built over generations, really,
Yeah.
based on respect, utility.
Totally. And well, what we're diving into today is how that traditional wisdom, specifically from a place like Nyabohanse, it actually offers incredibly creative, really effective ideas for the morning routine of a specific powerful dog mix.
Right, the Boerboel and German Shepherd blend.
Yeah. And we're pulling insights from this fascinating article discussing these very practices in Nyabohanse village.
So this deep dive, it's really about giving you a shortcut, you know, a way to understand these methods without wading through everything.
We're extracting the key nuggets, the important bits of knowledge, finding those surprising insights into how a rural community approaches dog care, often with simple means.
And crucially, how it applies to you, no matter where you are,
Mhm.
city, suburbs, wherever.
Okay, so first let's quickly touch on this unique mix. You've got the Boerboel side.
Ah, the South African powerhouse.
Mhm.
Originally guarding homesteads, known for that. Guarding instinct, calm confidence, huge loyalty,
Mhm.
and yeah, built like a tank.
Seriously strong.
Right.
And then the other side, the German Shepherd, famously high energy.
Oh yeah, super intelligent, alert, versatile,
Hmm.
loves tasks, needs tasks really, sharp mind.
So you blend those two.
Hmm.
What do you get? A dog that's protective, sure, but also highly intelligent.
Strong, definitely, but sensitive too. Needs that mental engagement.
It's this balance, right? Power and brains. And it absolutely requires specific structured engagement right from the start of the day. You've got to channel that potential positively.
And the scene in Nyabohanse, it just sets the stage perfectly for this. Dogs are active from dawn. Literally, sun's up, they're up.
Open land, maybe herds nearby. They have this deep working connection with their people.
And their roles aren't passive. They're guarding livestock, they're alarms for the homestead, they're companions.
And the source makes it really clear their training approach.
Yeah.
It's not from modern textbooks or fancy gear.
No, it's rooted in observation, intuition, methods passed down generations.
Using simple tools, natural stuff they find, and, critically, a lot of love and just understanding the dog's nature.
Which brings up a key point the source highlights. Why the big emphasis on the morning routine?
Well, for a mix like this, high energy, smart that physical and mental stimulation is crucial early on.
Right. Get that energy and focus channeled constructively right away. It helps prevent, destructive habits or barking later from boredom.
Plus, there's a deeper thing going on, consistency in that morning routine. It's
Mhm.
not just burning energy.
No, it profoundly builds trust, solidifies obedience,
Yeah, it reinforces commands naturally, just in the flow of things, deepens that bond.
and it establishes you, the owner, as that respected, consistent leader the dog looks to. It's vital.
And, ultimately, like a human's morning ritual sets their mindset for the day. A
Mhm.
structured start puts the dog in a calm, focused, kind of satisfied state for whatever's next.
So, in this deep dive, we're going to explore some of these specific, really creative rituals from Nyabohanse. We'll look at the practical activities, how nutrition fits in, the simple, ingenious tools.
And importantly, how you, listening right now, can take the underlying ideas, the principles, and adapt them, even if your backyard is tiny or you're in a busy city.
Okay, let's start with some of the core active stuff the source talks about. The physical practices. The intent behind them is key.
Right. One core idea. Starting the day with movement that connects the dog to its surroundings. The source mentions these early sunrise walks through the fields.
Yeah, before it gets hot, often when there's still dew on the grass. And it's described not as some forced march, but like a peaceful, observant walk with the dog.
What's really interesting there is how the physical act, the walking, is paired with setting a calm tone.
Exactly. It's about releasing that pent-up energy, but in a grounded way, moving with the rhythm of the day, the land. For a part GSD, engaging their senses, like that first thing, incredibly valuable.
And kind of naturally flowing from that outdoor activity, there's this practical ritual. Warm water foot baths.
Simple, right? After walking through fields or dusty paths, they wash the dog's feet. Warm water, sometimes adding local herbal infusions they have around.
It's simple care, isn't it? But it does a few things. Hygiene, obviously. soothing paws from thorns or whatever.
But it's also turned into a bonding moment. That close, tactile interaction right at the start of the day reinforces the human as caregiver.
And you can totally see adapting that. Just a basin, warm water, a towel after a walk, anywhere.
Yeah.
Easy.
Another related care thing is using calming herbal rubs. They use local plants, whatever's readily available. The source mentions lemongrass or neem, maybe in that region. Simple rubs for the dog's coat.
Again, using what's there for health like, these herbs might help repel insects, but it's also another form of touch.
Turning practical care into a moment of bonding, calm connection. The principle is just. Use natural, safe stuff for grooming and health in a way that deepens your connection.
And yeah, for us, that might mean using, commercial vet-approved calming sprays or brushes, but capturing that same idea, gentle, purposeful touch.
Okay, moving from physical stuff and basic care to engaging their minds and instincts, which is crucial for both breeds here.
Especially the German Shepherd site, right? They thrive on tasks.
Absolutely. The source highlights how they weave work and challenge into the morning. One way is light agility with handmade obstacles.
Like logs, old crates, even just some well-placed stones become hurdles or things to weave around.
It taps right into that GSD need for tasks, problem solving. Plus, it's functional exercise coordination, body awareness, proprioception, knowing where their body is.
Using the environment creatively, turning everyday stuff into training tools. It's brilliant.
And building on using their strength purposefully, another practice. Short cart pulling for muscle strength. Small, simple carts. Dogs help pull light loads.
The source is careful to note this is done, under supervision with appropriate loads.
Of course. But it's a fantastic example of integrating the dog into daily chores. Purposeful exercise using the Boerboel's build and a sort of desire to contribute gives them a job right away.
The principle being exercise strength with purpose, not just for the sake of it.
Beyond the physical tasks, mental stimulation and bonding are huge. The source describes how training is woven into interactions, often using traditional commands.
Words like kuja for come, keri for sit, and goja for wait. Taught not in, formal classes.
No, just gently and firmly as part of these morning activities.
It reinforces that training isn't separate. It's part of the ongoing conversation, the routine.
Using the local language is also noted as deepening that cultural connection between human and dog, a shared language built through interaction.
And sometimes the communication is even more unique. The source mentions drumbeat recall exercises.
Isn't that cool? Instead of whistles, some villagers use light, rhythmic drum taps as a recall signal.
Highly innovative, it leverages a totally different sense. Rhythm, vibration can be incredibly powerful, distinctive for a dog.
It's a unique, maybe very reliable approach to a critical safety command. The insight is just using a clear, consistent, maybe unexpected signal for key commands.
And for that herding instinct, in the German Shepherd, there's goat herd circles herding practice with village goats.
Where dogs practice gently guiding goats in controlled small circles.
It directly addresses that innate drive, right? But constructively, controlled. Gives mental focus, physical movement, a clear objective.
It's acknowledging the breed's nature and giving it an appropriate outlet first thing in the morning.
Mental stimulation can also be simpler games. The source describes find the gourd nose games.
A dried calabash gourd, hidden maybe with a little treat inside, and the dog's encouraged to find it.
Nose work is just so valuable for dogs. Mentally tiring, satisfying. Using a natural thing like a gourd. Simple, affordable brilliance, sharpens scent detection, engages the brain.
And you can totally recreate that. Hidden treats in blankets, boxes scattered in the grass, easy.
Socialization is also built into the morning routine. The source mentions social meetups with neighbor dogs.
Seen as important for dogs to bond and learn, respectful interactions with other dogs.
Which is crucial for developing well-adjusted dogs, especially ones with protective instincts. Learning those social cues early, maybe while energy levels are managed through other activities, it sets them up for calmer interactions later.
And sometimes the morning routine is just quiet presence, mindfulness, sitting with the owner.
Yeah, the source notes villagers sometimes just sit with their dogs, maybe watching the sunrise, observing the herds.
What a beautiful, simple ritual that is. Builds calm confidence, deepens the bond through quiet presence.
It's not always about doing, sometimes just being together in the morning calm, just as important for reinforcing security, connection.
And blending mental and physical again, there's treat hunting in bushy trails. A few treats tossed into light bush or tall grass. Dog sniffs and explores to find them.
Another great nose game, but using a more natural environment. Encourages that natural scavenging or, hunting instinct in a controlled, rewarding way.
The principle is simple. Turn finding food into an engaging activity.
Okay, let's shift a bit to the practical elements, the tools. The source describes using simple, natural tools, things like those calabash gourds for games, tree stumps for balance practice, river
It's all
stones.
items just reused from nature. It highlights a key principle. You don't need expensive gear.
Right. Ingenuity with safe, available items can provide really rich enrichment. It ties back to that core idea, use what the environment provides.
They also use repurposed household items.
Oh.
Old pans for feeding, maybe woven ropes for tug toys, worn-out clothes turned into simple snuffle mats to hide food in.
Innovation born from necessity, right. But delivering the same functional benefit as specialized equipment. Mental stimulation, chewing needs, training, all with stuff already on hand.
And let's talk about nutrition as a morning habit. The traditional morning meals described often include things like uji, that's a millet porridge,
Hmm.
boiled sweet potatoes, or maybe a protein mix from leftovers.
It emphasizes using natural, filling, energy-packed local ingredients. Simple, traditional, providing sustained energy for a working dog's day.
The source also points out specific local ingredients with high nutritional value they might incorporate. Things like pumpkin seeds, cassava, fish broth maybe.
It just shows that high-quality, nutrient-dense nutrition can come from simple, affordable, traditional food sources, tailored to what's available locally, nourishing these active dogs.
So, bringing all this together, how does someone listening, maybe in a city apartment or a suburban house, how do you adapt these rituals at home?
Well, the source gives some clear pointers. It emphasizes adapting the principle, right, not the exact environment.
Exactly. You can recreate the idea of nature walks, explore trails in local parks, quiet streets with lots of trees, smells to investigate.
Replace stumps with safe platforms, like sturdy park benches for balance practice, maybe, or those commercial balance discs for dogs.
Yeah, those work. And for herbal rubs, you could use dog-safe, vet-approved herbal oils or grooming sprays diluted properly, of course, to capture that tactile calming element.
And substituting tools is definitely doable. Instead of coconut shells for chewing, use durable rubber toys designed for strong jaws.
Modern agility kits can stand in for handmade obstacles. Dog-safe shampoos, paw balms replace the traditional washes and rubs.
The key is matching the experience. The physical challenge, mental engagement, the sensory input, that bonding opportunity, using equipment and environments that fit your lifestyle.
So, to sort of recap here, this deep dive has really shown us how incredibly important meaningful morning rituals are, especially for a Boerboel-GSD mix, but honestly for any active, smart dog breed.
And that these traditional practices, honed over time in places like Nyabohanse village, they offer just a wealth of practical, natural, surprisingly creative ideas. Timeless, really, in their application.
Yeah, we've seen how practices born out of necessity, close observation, love, deep understanding of the dog, how they can bring balance, structure, joy to a dog's life in a rural setting.
And the amazing thing is, the core ideas translate. By incorporating even just one or two of the underlying principles we talked about,
Like maybe adding a scent hunt with hidden kibble in your living room.
or trying a simple balancing game on a low step using a puzzle toy that mimics finding food,
Or even just adding a moment of quiet, connected presence with your dog first thing in the morning.
you can make a significant difference in their well-being and in your bond.
Creativity and adaptation are absolutely key, just like the villagers use whatever's available in their environment.
So as you think about your own dog's morning, maybe consider this. What else might traditional wisdom, from cultures that seem so far removed from our busy, modern lives, what else could it teach us?
Yeah, about living well, not just with our animal companions, but in other parts of our day-to-day existence.
How much value are we potentially missing by, maybe overlooking simple natural methods in favor of complex store-bought solutions? Something to think about.